We're going to start on page 175 in grammar. And this is the last lesson. You made it to the end. And you might remember from last year that we did one of these Mad Libs. Have you ever heard of that, William? The Mad Libs? Yeah, we did this last year too. So that's all we're doing today. It's kind of a fun lesson today, but we're just gonna make a list of words, plug them into a story, and then read the story. So I know Caden's here, but maybe he's still getting ready. Oh, here comes JC. Let her in real quick. I'll explain it to her too before we start. Good morning, JC. Oh, here comes Harmony too. Okay. They're coming in. Hi, JC. Good morning. We're on page 175 and I see Harmony coming in. Hi, Harmony. Good morning.
Hi, Mrs. News.
We're on page 175. Okay. 175. And we're going to do, this is our last lesson. I was just explaining that. I just threw my pen. Hold on. Got it. Anyway, our last lesson. So this is a Mad Lib style lesson. So basically what we're going to do is you're going to come up with your own list of words here, according to each one of these parts of speech. And then we're going to plug it in a story and read it. And it's going to be crazy and funny and weird and goofy, all of that, just for fun. So it starts off with an adjective. Remember, those are the ones that describe the noun. So it could be, think of your five senses and a way to describe something like, I might say fluffy. You can put something different, or you can copy mine if you want, if you can't think of anything else, but it could be sticky, or it could be a color word, a number word, size word, opinion. You guys know the Dosas Comp ones that we learned a while back. So a place, a noun that's a place. I'll put, what do I want to put? A place. Let's see. I'll put Avila Beach. Kind of wish I was there right now, but you can put a place, any place you live, Disneyland, could be airport, any place, could be Walmart, could be the name of a city or a place. Like I said, you guys can write mine down if you can't think of anything, or make your own so that we all have different stories. An action verb, so this would be like an action that a character or someone is doing. I'm going to put work, but it could be read or jump or chase or drive or chop, like if you're chopping wood or chopping vegetables, I don't know. Another adjective, I'm going to put orange color. Another action verb, this time past tense, so maybe swam. You guys can write mine or make your own list. Ly adverb, obnoxiously. Something with ly at the end. Hopefully, weirdly. And you can move ahead if you're already, past me. That's okay. You can keep going on the list till you get to the bottom. Another adjective, bumpy. Noun. Let's see, what's a good noun? Computer. Time period would mean like time of the day, like noon or afternoon, like a morning, noon, afternoon, evening, midnight. I'm gonna do noon. another place, home, ly adverb, slowly. Keep going, and then if you have any questions, just let me know. Speaking verb is like how somebody says something like yell or whisper. I'm going to use past tense here, so like whispered. Okay, once you finish your list, take your time, don't rush, it's okay. On page 181 is the story, but don't look at that yet until you're done with your list, because it's more funny if you don't know what the story is going to be. But then after you get to the bottom of your list, go ahead and plug these words in the story. It'll make it easier to read. It's on page 181. So the story looks like this. Okay, so basically you're going to go through and plug in the words that you put from your list here. Okay. Yeah, you'll have to kind of flip back and forth to put in those words in the story. Give me a thumbs up when you guys are done with your list and plugging them in the story. Okay, good. Okay, you guys keep working on yours. I'll read mine, and then William, you could read yours, and we'll just kind of share it as you guys finish. Okay. Just to remind you, this is meant to be goofy. So some of these words actually work in the sentence and some of them don't, and that's okay because that's what makes it funny. So I'll go ahead and read mine. You guys can keep working on it if you're still, are you still writing, William? Okay. I'll wait for a little bit. Did you finish, Harmony? Thumbs up?
I'm writing on my story.
Okay, good. Perfect. Okay, I see that. Good job. Okay, if you're still writing, go ahead and keep writing. I'll go ahead and read mine first. You could just listen while you're writing. So the story's called Maid Marian by Mrs. C. Maid Marian, who was very fluffy, lived in a Avila Beach under the protection of King Richard. He had left the country to work in battle. While the king was away, John, his orange brother, swam the land. Because John obnoxiously taxed the peasants, that kind of makes sense actually, Maid Marian was bumpy. No longer fluffy, now she's bumpy. She wanted Robin Hood's computer. One noon, Maid Marian ventured into the home looking for Robin Hood. She said to him, John's sheriff has become slowly rich by taxing the peasants. He has taken their desk and jeep. Oh no, not the jeep. Tuesday, he will ride through the forest on a duck to protect a wagon load of stolen goods. Oddly, make him return them to the poor. Robin Hood whispered, You are as yellow as you are giant. I will follow your plan. In this way, Maid Marian helped Robin and his men return to the tiny poor what was continuously taken from them. When King Richard later returned from the wars, he hopped peace. Okay. Because Robin Hood was no longer an outlaw, he and Maid Marian wildly were married. They served French fries at the ugly wedding feast and all had a merry time. Some of those actually worked, but some of them were goofy. JC, do you feel like reading yours? Okay, go for it.
Right, so Maid Marian, who was very shiny, lived in a city walk under the protection of King Richard. He had left the country to read in battle. While the king was away, John, his green brother, ate the land. Because John surprisingly taxed the peasants, Maid Marian was sticky. She wanted Robin Hood's apple. One night, Maid Marian ventured into the Walmart looking for Robin Hood. She said to him, John Sheriff has become weirdly rich by taxing the peasants. He has taken their house and car. Tuesday, he will ride through the forest on a penguin to protect a wagon load of stolen goods. Swiftly make him return them to the poor. Robin Hood shouted, You are as yellow as you are slimy. I will follow your
Ooh,
in
that's
this
a good
way,
one,
Maid
actually.
Marian. In this way, Maid Marian helped Robin and his men return to the strange poor what was lovely taken from them. When King Richard later returned from the wars, he drank peace. Because Robin Hood was no longer an outlaw, he and Maid Marian unexpectedly were married. They served pizza and at the beautiful wedding feast and all
Oh,
had a merry time.
that actually worked at the end. I like it. Good job. That was funny. He was slimy for stealing from the poor, and then they got married. That was crazy. I guess because he changed his ways. That's funny. Anybody else want to share? You want to share yours, William? Yeah, share yours. Come on, let's hear it. Okay. Uh-oh. We can come back to you, William. Do you want to read yours, Harmony? Let's hear yours. We'll come back to you, William, okay? I see your thumbs up there.
Maid Marian, who was very fluffy, lived in a Disneyland under the protection of King Richard. He had left the country to work in battle while the king was away. John, his orange brother, swam the land because John obnoxiously taxed the peasants. Maid Marian was bumpy. She wanted Robin Hood's computer. One midnight, Maid Marian ventured into the Italy
Italy.
looking for Robin Hood. She said to him, John's sheriff has become oddly rich by taxing the peasants. He has taken their duck
Oh,
and baseball. Tuesday, he will ride through the forest on an elephant to protect a wagon load of stolen goods. Interestingly, make him return them to the poor. Robin Hood shouted, "You are as hungry as you are smooth. I will follow your plan."
That's a good
In
one.
this way, Maid Marian helped Robin and his man return to the pink poor. That was amazingly taken from them. When King Richard later returned from the wars, he ran peace because Robin Hood was no longer been an outlaw. He and Maid Marian Wiley were married. They served pizza at the young wedding feast and all had a merry time.
Nice. Good job.
Going to Italy!
They went to Italy and they were the pink poor. That was funny, Harmony. Good job. I liked it. Okay, William, go for it.
Maid Marian, who was very stinky, lived in a bath under the protection of King Richard. He left the country to sleep in battle. While the king was away, John, his purple brother, ate the land. Because John joyfully taxed the peasants, Maid Marian was rich. She wanted Robin Hood Bob. One midnight, Maid Marian ventured into the McDonald's looking for Robin Hood. She said to him, John's sheriff had become joyfully rich by taxing the peasants. He has taken their grill and computer. Today he will ride through the forest on a KFC to protect the wagon load of stolen goods. Make him return them to the poor. Robin Hood screamed, "You are as ugly as you are smelly. I will follow your plan." In this way, Maid Marian helped Robin and his men return to the nice, poor what was happily taken away from them. When King Richard later returned from the wars, he smelled peace. Because Robin Hood was no longer an outlaw, he and Maid Marian sadly were married.
Sadly.
They served KFC at the stinky wedding feast and all had a merry time.
Nice. Good one. You must have had KFC on your mind, huh? Did you put KFC where up here where it was like, where was that? He rode, he will ride through the forest on a KFC. Is that what you put? That's funny. These are great. Kaden, are you there this morning? I know you don't have your camera on yet, but if you're not,
Yeah, I just copied you.
oh, you just copied me. Okay, that's fine. Oh my gosh, those are fun. All right, so your homework this week for grammar is going to be all 4 pages of this week. So, and then you're done with the book. So you're going to have 4 pages in grammar, and then you're done with the book. Woohoo! And then we'll just focus on our last report. Okay, so I emailed your parents today, this morning, about the plan for the next project, and it is a research project. So hopefully your parents had a chance to check the email. And if they did, I also attached a document, a Word document for them to print. If they printed it, great. If they didn't print it, I see yours, William. That's good. That's okay. I'm going to go through this with you. I'm going to attach it to your homework this week too. So you'll get it one way or the other, okay? But this week we're going to start the final paper. So we're going to stop working in the history book. I know you guys aren't at the end of the book, but that's okay. You got far enough in the book, you're ready for the next level next year. If you decide to do summer with me, we'll finish the history book during the summer. It's optional. You don't have to do that. But I just really want to move on to a really great research paper about the United States Constitution, which we know a little bit about. You guys already know about the preamble. And so we're going to look into the amendments and write a paper about a Supreme Court case from our United States Constitution. So basically, the Constitution is a collection of amendments and articles, and it's basically what our country is founded on, and our government is, that's how our government functions, is by the United States Constitution. And when there's a lawsuit, and you might know a little bit about the court system, but I'll try to explain it quickly. It's very complicated, but in a nutshell, if somebody does something wrong to you, you have the right to sue them. And when you sue somebody because they wronged you in some way, it starts out at the local level, and there's something called the local court. So like for us, it would be in Kern County, because that's the county we live in. It would start there. And depending on the level of crime or the level of whatever they did against you, it can move through different court systems, like state, and then it goes different levels of court, all the way to the very tippy top court is the United States Supreme Court. That's at the very top. And those cases, they don't see every case. They get 10,000 requests for a court date, and they can only take 80 per year. So 10,000 requests per year, and they take 80. So that tells you they can't see everybody's case, but they take the most relevant ones to our laws. So when it goes to the United States Supreme Court, whatever the decision is made there affects our laws. And so it's a big deal if it makes it that far. And we're going to look into that and see what kind of cases there have been and how it's affected our laws. So I do want to share just a quick little video first, and then we'll do a little research together, and I'll explain what we're going to be working on in the next few weeks. So let's watch this first, and then we'll talk about it.
Can one piece of paper control one of the most powerful countries on earth? Yes, it's the Constitution. It's more than old parchment. It's the rulebook of the United States. Before it, things were chaotic. After it, order, power, and limits all written down. In this video, you'll learn what the Constitution is, why it was made, what's inside it, and how it still runs the show today. Let's rewind to 1787. The U.S. had just ditched Britain, but didn't quite know how to run itself. They had the Articles of Confederation. Sounds official, but it was super weak. No president, no power to tax. So a bunch of leaders met in Philadelphia to fix it. What did they do instead? Tossed it and built something brand new. They created 3 branches of government: legislative, executive, and judicial, so no one could hog all the power. Congress makes the laws. It's split into the Senate and the House of Representatives. The president enforces the laws, commander-in-chief, head of state, decision-maker. The courts interpret the laws. The Supreme Court decides what's constitutional and what's not. Each branch checks the others. It's like rock, paper, scissors for power. The Constitution has 3 parts: the preamble, the articles, and the amendments. The preamble says why it all matters. It's because of justice, peace, and freedom. The Constitution has 7 articles. Article 1 covers Congress. Article 2, the president. Article 3, the courts. You get the idea. It also splits power between national and state governments. It's federalism in action. And the cherry on top, the Bill of Rights. 10 amendments that protect your freedom to speak, worship, and stay silent. Other rights include the right to bear arms, fair trials, and privacy. Later, amendments banned slavery, gave citizenship to all born in the U.S., and let women vote. So here's the problem. It was written in the 1700s. Does it still work for today? The world's changed, the Constitution hasn't. But guess what? It can be amended. In fact, it already has 27 times. That's how we got civil rights, voting rights, and more. Every law has to follow the Constitution. If not, it can be struck down. Big debates today, like privacy and gun laws, are all tied to the Constitution. Every student studies the Constitution because it shapes everyday life. It's called a living document because it still grows with us. Quick recap. The Constitution creates 3 branches, limits power, gives rights, and keeps evolving. Legislative makes laws, executive enforces them, judicial interprets them. Bill of Rights equals your freedom. Amendments equals our progress. The Constitution isn't just a piece of paper. It's a living rulebook that protects your rights, balances power, and adapts to a changing world. Whether you're debating free speech or watching the news, it all goes back to this. Now that
Okay, so we'll stop that there. So that's just kind of a quick summary of the Constitution and the levels of the judicial and the different branches that we have of government in our country. So one thing she did point out was in the Supreme Court, they decide if whatever happened to somebody was constitutional, like it was protected under the Constitution or not. And that is a big reason that it goes to the Supreme Court to check the Constitution. Does it follow the Constitution or does it not? So we're going to do some research today. We're starting the research today, and I'm going to have you go to a new tab on your internet browser. So we've done that before in class. Hopefully you guys are able to do that today. If not, you can just listen and work on this for your homework. And just to give you a heads up on your homework, you're going to focus on research this week. So I am not assigning any actual writing assignments. So you might be happy about that, but I am assigning the research part. So that I want you to take your time on. It will take a while for you to sift through. There's just hundreds and probably thousands of court cases to look at. You don't have to look at all of them. So I'm going to show you kind of how to narrow down your options on the court cases, but some court cases at the Supreme Court level they have adult content. So this is why it's super important for you to make sure to include your parents or grandparents or whoever is doing your homeschooling when you do this on your own, to sit down with them and make sure they can help you figure out what court cases are appropriate for you and what ones are more easier to understand. Okay, so I'm just giving you a heads up on that today we're going to look at some of the cases that are appropriate to look at, but I want to, when you go to search on your own later for homework, make sure that you let your parent know. And I emailed all your parents and or whoever's doing your homeschooling to let them know that you need their help this week on researching. And you're going to narrow it down to 3 Supreme Court cases that you're interested in. And then you're going to put it on a document that I'll share in Google Classroom. I'll show you that document in a minute. And then I'll let you know which one you ultimately are going to write on. So we're just doing kind of the background part this week, researching, reading some Supreme Court cases and narrowing it down. The reason why I want you to give me 3 choices is because I want everybody to have a different Supreme Court case to write about. Because on the very last day of class, which I can tell you that date right now, the very last day of class will be May 28th. And that is 4 weeks from today. It's crazy. We're already at the end. I mean, like tomorrow's May. How'd that happen? I just feel like we just had Christmas. I don't know. I probably say that a lot, but man, it just seems like time is going so fast. So anyway, your last day will be May 28th, and we will do a presentation on that day. I'm going to teach you how to do a PowerPoint presentation. Now, did anybody write about a Supreme Court case last year? Did you guys do that last year with me or no? Okay, so this is your first time. Okay. So I'm going to teach you how to make, I think you guys wrote about an animal last year and did a PowerPoint. Okay, so I'm going to go over the Google slides basically with you in a few weeks after you finish your report on your research paper. And then you'll just present to the class what you learned about the Supreme Court case. So I want everybody's case to be different so that we can learn from each other's research paper. So this kind of stuff, I don't know. I like this kind of stuff. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it too. But all right. Anybody have any questions before I get started on how to do the research? Okay. If you have any questions along the way today, please just unmute or raise your hand, and I want to be able to answer your questions as we go here because this is kind of new. Well, it is new for you. So I want to take it slow and I want to answer your questions. If you get lost or confused, just please let me know and I'll explain what we're doing. So go to your internet browser, and I just ignore all the tabs I have. I know it's ridiculous. I have too many classes and emails. What can I say? But go to a new tab. And I want you to type in the address bar at the top there, Constitution, oops, if I can spell it, constitutioncenter.org. If you need help finding that, I can put it in the chat. So I want everybody to go to constitutioncenter.org if you can on your computer there. Thumbs up if you see what I see on your end. Okay, good. I see a thumbs up. Kaden, it probably would help if you turn on your monitor, or I mean your camera, but if you can't, just give me a thumbs up virtually so I know you're with me. Okay. How about you, JC? Okay, I see that, Kaden. Are you on that page? Harmony, did you find that page okay? Oh, good, okay.
Which one is it called? Is it a PDF or is it like
So you're
an article?
it's actually a website. I'm taking you to a website. So if you go to a new, like open a new window on your internet and type in constitutioncenter.org, and I'm going to put it in the chat too. So if that's easier for you, JC, you could just click the link in the chat. I put it right there for you. See if that works. You guys are getting pretty good at navigating between Zoom and the internet and all that. That's good. That's a good skill to know. Got it? Okay, cool. Now from here, you'll see a tab at the top of this website that says The Constitution. Click on that. And when you click on it, you're going to see a list of choices. And on the left side of that list, it says again, The Constitution. Go ahead and click on The Constitution here, and it'll take you to a new page like this. Thumbs up if that's what you see on your screen too. Yay, good, okay, cool. Good, okay, Caden, I see that. So now on this page, you're just gonna scroll down, scroll. You'll see in big blue letters the preamble. We know about that. You guys already studied that. And then articles. So these articles are the first 7 articles that were written in 1787 and ratified in 1788. So this is after the Revolutionary War. When we won that war against Britain, we became an independent country. And this is when they started writing the Constitution, and it was finalized and ratified in 1788. So these are the original articles here, okay? We're gonna keep scrolling down to the amendments. Now, in the video we just watched, the amendments are the ones that are a little bit newer. they're still, really old, but they're newer than the original writings. So they've been amended to kind of fit more of how our society works now in this country. So basically, we've got 27 amendments, and you can scroll through and see them here. It'll say First Amendment, and it'll tell a little bit about what the First Amendment is: freedom of religion, speech, press, assembly, petition. Just scroll through for a minute. It's kind of cool when you hover over that amendment, you'll see a little graphic on the side here. It's kind of cool how it shows you that. And so the Third Amendment, quartering of soldiers, just read through them real quick. We're just going to scroll and look at them. Some of these will make sense to you. Some of them may not make sense. That's okay. We're going to go through some of them together. And if you notice, the first 10 are blue. These are the Bill of Rights. So these are those first 10 amendments, and then it keeps going. So you can keep scrolling down. Reconstruction of amendments, and then there's more all the way down to 27. Okay, so you kind of get a feel for what these amendments are. Some amendments are talked about a lot more than others. For example, the First Amendment. That is probably between the First and the Second Amendment. Those are the two amendments that are talked about most, and probably it's safe to say they're the most that are challenged. So obviously the First Amendment, you've heard that before, is the freedom of religion, speech, press, assembly, and petition. So the freedom of speech, these freedoms, by the way, for the First Amendment are not in every country in the world. The United States is very unique in this way, meaning that when you live in the United States and you are a citizen of the United States, you have the freedom to worship any God that you believe in. You have the freedom to talk about God in public. You have the freedom to pray in public. However, whichever religion or type of prayer that you believe in. And you also get to express your opinions about things. And man, anymore, you guys, you don't know much about like when your parents were kids and when life was different back then. But today, this is huge. Like we have social media now, and on social media, everywhere you look, people are expressing their opinions about stuff. And it's probably hard as a kid to understand how unique that is. That's not allowed in a lot of other countries. So anyway, that's one that's challenged one of the most. And then, of course, the right to bear arms means that you have a right as an American citizen. If you're 18 years or older and you get a license to own one, you can own your own firearm to protect yourself. So that is a right written into the Constitution. And this is one of those controversial rights that comes up a lot on the news. So we're going to start by looking at an amendment together that we're interested in, maybe together. I'm going to have you click on the First Amendment, but during your homework time, you can click through different amendments and read more about them and see what they're about. Okay, this is why I'm only assigning research this week, because I want you to see what these amendments are about and see if there's one that you're like, oh, I'm interested in that. Like, I want to know more about that. So, for example, when you click on the First Amendment, there's a little paragraph right here. This is the definition. It's right under where it says freedom of religion, speech, press, assembly, and petition. This is a little paragraph about the definition of the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. So, in other words, Congress, which is our government that make the laws for our country, they cannot make any laws that affect religion. Religion has to remain free, like churches, okay? They are free to be independent and make their own decisions on how to worship and how to how to operate and all of that. We know that churches, Christian churches, operate using the Bible. And they're saying that the government can't have a say in how churches operate. So that's basically what that means. And then it says, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. So basically, these are our human rights and American rights as citizens to do all the things that I've already said about being free to voice opinions, and if you feel that you've been wronged, you have a right to go to court, like sue somebody and go to court. Does anybody have any questions so far about what I'm talking about? Okay. No? Okay. I know it's a lot to take in. If you scroll down a little bit on this page, you're going to see a list of interpretations and debate. This link is not on every amendment, but I want to show this to you in case when you look at an amendment later with your parent, you can choose one of these to open up. So let's just choose the first one, interpretations and debate. So you should see the establishment clause, and give me a thumbs up if your website looks like mine, your internet looks like mine. Okay, I see that, William. Okay, good, good. Harmony, does yours look like mine so far, where it says the establishment clause? Let me know if you need help, okay?
I don't see that.
Okay, so let me go back. How about this? Does yours look like this? Freedom of religion, speech, press, assembly, and petition? Yeah, so what I did was scroll down a little bit. It's this top bar right here that says interpretations and debate. It's clickable. If you go right there, you should see that. Do you see that now? The establishment clause? Okay, good. Thumbs up. Yay. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Harmony. Let me know. Okay. That's good. If you scroll, stay on this page and just scroll down, you're going to see a lot of paragraphs. Now, for your homework, I don't expect you to read all the paragraphs, but I do expect you to skim, meaning you're going to kind of read the first sentence of each paragraph and look at, some keywords and get a feel for what they're talking about on this part of the amendment. That's why I need your parent to help you with this. But if I keep scrolling, yes, Kaden, did you have a question?
I have to go because I have another class, but thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, you're welcome, Kaden. I recorded it if you need to go back through this later, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Alrighty, you're welcome. Okay, bye-bye. Let's see. So some of these, you can see here, some of these have clickable links to them. They are actually links to Supreme Court cases. I'm just scrolling through here. So you can just scroll on your page. You can see that they're links. If you hover over them, it's clickable. Now these all have a V in the middle. For example, this one, Lynch v. Donnelly. The V stands for verses. So what it is two last names of two different people, and one of them sued the other one over something. And that is a Supreme Court case. That's the name of the Supreme Court case. Like this one says, it says around, I'm just going to read, you don't have to find this on yours, but I'll just read what it says. It says, they also illustrate that the court has declined to take a rigid, absolutist view of the separation of church and state. So you might have heard that phrase before, separation of church and state. So it says, in Lynch v. Donnelly, 1984, the court allowed display of a nativity scene surrounded by other holiday decorations in the heart of a shopping district, stating that it engenders a friendly community spirit of goodwill in keeping with the season. And then it names another case. they're saying that it violated the Establishment Clause, which is part of the First Amendment. And they're saying that it's pushing a certain religion over another. So religion is a big battle in our country because people believe differently about God, or they have a different God that they serve. So it's interesting to see how these cases play out and how it affects our law regarding that kind of stuff. So one thing I think would be a good one to click on. Let me see if I can find it, and then I'll tell you which one it is that we can look at together. Let's see where it's at. Hold on, guys. I'll find it really quick. I don't see it on this page, but let's click on this one that says Marsh. If you can find it, just scroll down till about right here where it says Marsh v. Chambers. See if you can find that one in one of the paragraphs. It's kind of in the middle. Marsh v. Chambers. Give me a thumbs up. Okay, good. I see you can see it. JC. Marsh v. Chambers. If you don't see it, it's okay. You can just watch this and check it later. I'm just going to show you what happens when you click on one of these. Do you see it, William? Okay, go ahead and click on Marsh v. Chambers 1983. When you click on it, it will take you to a new website called Oyez. This is a collection of Supreme Court cases on this website. These are all government websites, but they are safe as far as you can go there, and you're not going to get pop-ups and things. These are just collections of Supreme Court cases. So if I scroll down a little bit, this where it says facts of the case, this is a kind of a summary of what this case was about. Ernest Chambers, that was the last name of one of the people in the case. So Ernest Chambers, a member of Nebraska legislature, challenged the legislature's chaplaincy practice in federal court. This practice involves the offering of a prayer at the beginning of each legislative session by a chaplain chosen by the state and paid out of public funds. The district court supported Chambers on the use of public funds. The appeals court supported Chambers on the prayer practice. Both parties appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court. Now, under here where it says question, every Supreme Court case has a question. And this is what they talk about for months and months and months, back and forth with attorneys, with judges, with juries, everything, to answer this question. Does the chaplaincy practice of Nebraska legislature violate the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment? So they're looking at the Constitution and they're saying, does offering prayer before their meetings in a public setting, does that violate the First Amendment? Well, here's a list of all the judges that were part of that case. And you can see some of them are grayed out. They're grayed out because their answer was no. And the ones that are in color, those are the ones that answered yes. So it says here it was a 6-3 decision for Marsh, which is one of the last names of the people in the case. So it's kind of neat that this site shows their faces and you can kind of see like their decision. And then here's a little summary of that. Okay. Now, let me show you. That's all the search that we have time for today. But I attached that. If you have that paper printed from the email this morning, there's other sites on here for you to go to search around on these sites for different Supreme Court cases. Like I said, make sure that you ask an adult to help you do this at home when you're doing this for your homework. As part of your attachments on your homework this week, you're going to see this Google Doc. And it has some boxes that you're going to plug in information. Do you see how it says choice 1? You don't have this, so just pause for a second and look at my screen. Choice 1, choice 2, choice 3. Like I said, you're going to do all that research and read different cases and look at different amendments and get a feel for what amendment you're interested in and what case goes with that amendment. And you'll put the number of the amendment here, like we just looked at amendment, the first amendment. So you would write that in here. If you're interested in the case that I just showed you, you would write that Marsh v. Chamber, I think it was, or something. I can't remember the names on it, but you would write out the name of the case with a V. That's the name of the case. And then here are the links. So from the Constitution Center, you will copy the link to that page of that case and put it here. These other two, Justia, it's supreme.justia.com. That's another website that has a collection of all the Supreme Court cases. And OYES. We saw a little bit of OYES when we clicked that one link. So once you decide on what case you're interested in, go to those different websites to the actual case and cut and paste the link on this document. So you'll have 3 separate Supreme Court cases listed here. Okay. And then I will tell you which one that you'll ultimately write a paper on. So your job this week is going to be to research with an adult, narrow it down to your 3 top choices. I'm going to see if I can get everybody's first choice. So put the first choice here. But if somebody else picks the same as you, I'm going to have to decide who's going to do what. All right, I know that was a lot to take in. Do you guys have any questions for me before you go? This is so different. Okay. You might have questions for me during your homework week. So please have your parent text me. That's the quickest way to get through to me. They can email me and they can message. You can message me on Google Classroom, but I won't get it as quickly as if they just text me. Okay, so this is new. This is a new approach to research. So I'm excited for you. You're going to learn a lot about our government and about Supreme Court cases and how they make decisions and how it relates to our laws. So it's pretty cool. So no writing assignment. You will have the 4 pages in grammar, but you're not writing any paragraphs this week. You're not doing any KWOs yet. We're going to get into that hard next week, so be ready. This week, you're just getting a feel for what this is all about and picking some 3 Supreme Court cases. All right, you guys, good job today. That's it for today, so I will see you next week. Have a good one. Bye. Bye, JC. Bye, Harmony.